This is my third album, and the first album we recorded had more of a yoga and traditional feel, which was very suited to Kirtan. The second album we moved into the world music genre, and that took us into the world music charts in Europe. And with this third album, we wanted to create something that was new age, push the boundaries of Kirtan a little bit. My process when composing always starts with the meditation. I think everything that I do and every step I take always starts with prayer. So it's usually in a meditation that I hear the music or hear the melody in my mind, and then I quickly pull out my phone and I start recording it and get on my keyboard and try to work out kind of the pitch and the keys, and everything after that is really via email and Skype with my producer and my manager. I worked with 3 producers for this album: Talvin Singh, TigerStyle, and Oskar Vizan. Working with Talvin Singh was very interesting. I got to go to his studio in Suffolk and see his process, and that was quite fun. He's very particular about sound, and he has this ability to create sound in such a way it's so atmospheric. It's almost as though you're sitting in a room and you're surrounded by those instruments and those players, and everything is just coming at you in this wonderful way. So for me, I learned a lot from working with Talvin Singh. I worked on about 4 tracks with TigerStyle. The entire thing was done via Skype. They live in Glasgow, I live in Dubai, so meeting wasn't possible in such a short span of time. But they were extremely humble and easy to work with. They're used to producing very poppy music, and pop music it's produced in such a way that it has a shelf life. And asking them to create music the way that we try to create on the album, with really incredible musicians that give length and life to those tracks, to these kirtans, it was a learning experience for them and for me. And it was fun because I got to be very involved in the process, and also I had the chance to kind of guide them as to how particular I wanted each track to turn out. So I've been working with Oskar Vizan since the very first album, and I really have a high respect for him. He's kind of like a sound nerd. He's very particular about sound and music and quality, and he always helps me pull out the best vocals, and I appreciate working with someone like him. On this album, we approached some incredible musicians and asked them to play on the album and on the tracks. We worked with Jyotsna Srikanth, who plays violin, with Tunde, who plays the kora, and with James Yorkston, who is a folk style guitar player. So we really wanted to show a very wide range, and I think if you have a listen to these tracks, you're going to notice very different instruments on each track, which just really brings that new age feeling to the sound. I've worked with Jyotsna since my previous album, I Bow to You, Waheguru, and other than that I've actually done concerts with Jyotsna, and I'm actually working on a single with Jyotsna. She's just an incredible musician. When she plays, it's as though you can't tell the difference between her and her instrument. It's almost like a meditation, and it's wonderful to see a female going out there and doing the things that she does. She involves herself in charity similar to myself. She teaches children, and she tours all over the world playing. She's just a machine. She's non-stop, and it's just a very vibrant energy to be around. Having James on this album has been such a privilege. He's signed to Nasaro Records. He's a brilliant folk singer, and he's brought so much creativity to the tracks that he's featured on. He's actually part of a very interesting collaboration, a group called Yorkston, Thorn and Khan, and that's actually how I discovered him, after which we approached him to play on the album, and we just wanted to extend the sound that we were creating. And one of the best ways to do that is to approach incredible musicians who can add value, and he's one of those. This album, Sacred Words, is set to release on the 11th of May with the Martin Youth Glover's imprint label, Suriya Recordings. It's very exciting to be signed to such a prestigious label. Martin Glover has worked with musicians like Paul McCartney, Killing Joke, Kate Bush, and it was a privilege to have him actually mix one of the tracks on this album that's coming out. I think that I have a fantastic manager who passed him my CD and he fell in love with the sound, so hopefully I'll be doing more projects with him in the future. What is also really interesting in this partnership is that I have a big following in the US, and Suriya Records partners with the legendary San Francisco label 6 Degrees. So having the double release on the two labels is very exciting for Kirtan and for the album. What's unique about Kirtan for Causes is that 100% of the proceeds go towards the children. There are no admin costs. Most charities have 81% of your donation going towards administration, whereas we don't have that at all. We run the back end ourselves, we do the checking ourselves, and so donors can rest assured that 100% of what they're doing is going towards this cause and towards these children and changing lives.